All right. Let me make sure the volume is turned up. What if as many, or at least a few parables, speak explicitly about people who have been given talents slash gifts, talents, and are only blessed by the Most High because they maxed out those talents? Aren't there parables like that? Luther would know. He's a Bible studier. It seems that, and if you aren't gifted, the Lord doesn't expect much. But if you are gifted, gifts of God or talents in hospitality, same thing. If done to bring glory to Messiah, Christ, so there's that. I decided that I would go to the vice president of student affairs office today. Remember the one that kind of did the whole cover up when that guy, Greg, tried to fake me with a bill? Treated him like I would like to be treated. It was all good, set my intent for another school year. Implied I hoped it would be a lot better than the last two. Seems that it's starting off that way. Zach Mack has got a job packing parachutes in Penrose, Colorado. I'm already on their books. I have time. I have like 10 days before school. I'm thinking about taking the Mustang to Colorado Springs. That'd be $20. But I'll get off in Penrose, take my mini bike, the half mile to the small airport, maybe get some jumps in because I just bought one of those cameras I can strap to my head, and we'll get some live flat earth, because not only will they take me up 8,000 feet, how high do you go up in those parachutes? If Zach Matt comes in, ask him in the comments. Whatever it is, we're already up there over a mile high in Canyon City, I think. Pretty sure. Penrose, Canyon City, same thing. So there's that. Welcome, everybody, to Mudflood was Armageddon. The Mudflood was the Armageddon. Don't let them tell you anything else unless they're willing to debate you in a fair and honest way. I don't think I mentioned it yesterday, but I met Otis and the Apparition. Otis plays the spoons, the guitar, and the banjo. The Apparition, Owen, plays a harmonica and guitar. They're crazy good in Buena Vista. It's about 8,000. Okay, so we're going to be really up there, and we're going to be on top of a mountain, and it's going to look flat. It's going to look flat. I got it's not a GoPro, but it's the cheaper version. But it's got good reviews and stuff. Did hear from Joaquin. He's coming back into town next Sunday without a mini bike, so we're going to have to do something about getting him, because his electric skateboard or whatever that is, I don't know. He does it in the winter. There's your disclaimer. I only have a few pictures, and then I have a few more pictures. Early causes taken on by the society included Scott's plan for Tewksbury Abbey, a planned restoration of the choir of Canterbury Cathedral, the destruction of Christopher Wren's churches in the city of London, and the rebuilding of the nave roof in St. Albans Abbey. Why? They didn't like those 54 churches that they claimed Christopher Wren built in London. They organized stuff to tear them down, but they're going to fix the roof here. And in Venice, they were going to rebuild the West Front. It was like a national trust in 1985. Crazy, man. The Chattanooga Choo-Choo. Pardon me, sir. Is that the Chattanooga Choo-Choo? Yes, sir. Hey, I just took some pictures. Yesterday, I met Otis and the Apparition, a band. Where's the pictures I just took? There's Sergio. That's in Salida. That's me looking in an Elks building. We saw these. Let me try it again. Hold on. Hold on. It's always got to be something, right? Let me go back. I guess I'm going to have to unplug it and plug it back in. You've waited this long, please. I want you to see these pictures that I took today. Let's see. So this is what the girl Kelly, she took inside. Do I have to do all this right now? I told her, I said, you're taking too many pictures. But they live in this bus and they are trying to glorify the Lord. They say, I took those pictures, I just clicked. And it's weird, man. What's all this stuff? That's that big tree in Salida. So I think I have those. So they're an anti-suicide thing. Corey and Kelly, it's taking its little time. They're doing a video. So this is the inside of their bus. That's their steering wheel. And this is all filled with, they say, the ashes of 150 people that have committed suicide. All they want to do is go around. They sold everything. A lot of those, things that might think, I don't know. And then they live in this, I think, 8 months out of the year. Oh, look, they got clouds in their bedroom. A lot of skulls. A lot of skulls. Look at that. That tiling, geometric tiling. So there's some real art going on here. And they're all sold out. They got a female German Shepherd, seemed like a tender-hearted animal. And these are all people that they say the people represented here, 20% are survivors, the rest. And this is the inside. I'll show you some of the outside. But this is what they're doing with their thing. There I was checking my camera. That's my mini bike throttle. And people just kept walking up, and he just say the same thing. Tell them the story. Don't don't be alone was his main thing. That's a coffin. Their bumper is a coffin. And they're going to retire this. They've had this bus, I understand right, 10 years, and they've got a new one coming that they're saying the Lord provided the money in 90 days, and 1 hour before they met me, they got the news that it's paid off. 22 people a day are offing themselves because of the medicine. It seemed like they were, you know, eating organic and trying to live a healthy life. Now, it's a little bit different because, they both got the tattoos all over. Now, this is Corey, and I just wanted to get a picture here. People just automatically come up and start pouring their heart out to this guy. And some are happy and some are sad. So that's Corey. And this is Kelly. I wanted to get a picture with them, but the people kept stopping by.
Pretty good, huh?
You're doing that kind of work.
That's important, man. We need this. It's important.
Josh, you mind if he, let him show you the van?
Oh, man.
Because some of this shit's reality. It's not really like, yeah.
Would you mind sharing a cigarette with me?
Not like sharing it with you.
So that's back in Salida, a Mudflood building. A Mudflood building. Look at the size of that tree. They got quite the downtown. Oh, look at that rock. I cut it and polished it, and it stepped down because it's twisted. You're only seeing it diminish. That really is a myocardial band. Doobie doo band. Hey, thanks for sticking around.
Just to throw some cookouts. Obviously, it's about preserving and controlling access to something. And who do you think controlled the media back then? The photographs being released, the official narratives, the local history. These different clubs had influence, plain and simple. If they really were finding architecture or masonry that was already here, free masonry, then yeah, there would definitely be incentive to hide it. I couldn't find the Chattanooga Oddfellows.
Especially if it's the Chattanooga Choo Choo. Yes, sir.
Here's an entryway into this building. You can see all the decorative work, and then there's a window down there and another one down there, and you can even see the concrete sill still in place.
Perspective seldom seen of a life long past. Rumors still surround the ruins of the underground. One thing is certain, the remains of what was is right under our feet.
Over the next few days, we'll show you documentation.
Chattanooga is what Conspiracy R Us, he always goes back to this. And of course, we know it, you know it, and the American people know it. It flooded, but they jacked it up and they left those buildings. Some underground are still there at the same floor. They're the original buildings. It's all a mystery. The mud flood was Armageddon. It's 1711. We went over it. And everything's pointing to that general thing that after the double reaping at the end of the golden age, the 1,000 years that was ruled with a rod of iron, because there were tears.
It experienced heavy flooding throughout its early history.
So were flood victims tired of the destruction? Did they decide to raise what many consider to be downtown Chattanooga an entire floor using dirt or foundry silt? The historical data is spotty.
When you look at old images of the Central Block, there's no image, illustrated or photograph, that shows the Central Block losing a story.
No
documentation specifically about this happening, and that's driven people crazy.
Local historians have spent years exploring downtown.
Well, you think it's nice? Aren't you happy to know that you don't have to be like this guy, still believing that Elon Musk can maybe take you to Mars if people would just quit distracting him with his friends on Epstein Island?
And he says,
But that is not the only piece missing in this massive puzzle. Questions of underground arches and windows.
Tunnels.
Look at this is Jared Boosters 21 hours ago, still getting 19,000. How long have you known they jacked up Chicago? They jacked up Seattle. They jacked up all the town. They lied. The Mudflood was the Armageddon. We're going to be judged. This is a judgment. We're not going to make America great again. We're the slaves, man. So more,
Black
another
birds
minute.
flying around the basilica in circles like something out of a horror movie. Also, the stained glass windows are special. They were installed in 1890, but historical accounts say French.
Where's that one thing? It was just a short bit about a tower. Why'd they leave the tower? It'll be worth it. Wow.
By the ancestors of the Creeks, who had trade networks stretching from the Gulf to the Great Lakes. Same goes for Chilhowie, further east in Tennessee. It's another ancient mound complex. Burial sites, artifacts, and even links to red-haired giants that we've talked about in other videos. But the official story just slaps the Cherokee label on.
James Mooney, I did my first vision quest when his grandson, Dr. Mooney, and Dr. Stone, Gentle Eagle, and Flaming Eagle. Gentle Eagle took over for James Mooney's grandson, my first vision quest. And it was quite a lesson meeting him. He's his grandson spent 8 years in prison so that people could do peyote again in Utah. Quite a story.
All of it, to simplify the narrative and cover up the hybrid origins tied to earlier migrations. The Citico site is now underwater, buried beneath Tellico Lake after
Wow.
the Tellico bring in a whole new population. A reset.
It wasn't Egypt, though. That's where we want you to get to. We want you to get to there, and then you can. What's this?
When John Ruskin, he was
So
celebrating.
these guys build it like this. Look at this guy do the little tap, tap, tap and work.
Self in making the point of a pin and the head of a nail.
Did you always want to work with your hands rather than go to university? Yeah. How do you do that?
I think there's more satisfaction involved. Might be a good life at university, but I think I'm happy with what I'm doing here at the moment.
So these guys redid everything.
Of the 19th century. Go forth again to gaze upon the old cathedral front where you have smiled so often at the fantastic ignorance of the old sculptors. Examine once more those ugly goblins and formless monsters and stern statues anatomless and rigid. But do not mock at them, for they are signs of the life and liberty of every workman who struck the stone.
So I was into this.
Substitutes like his cousin Joan Severn, who really looked after him after his own mother died, and indeed she even sang him little songs before he went to bed at night.
Was she a kind of mother to him, do you think?
Yes, yes, she sort of...
Isn't that the hand that rocks the cradle of the ones left unpoisoned?
And I have to mark the excess pieces and take them away with a chisel or a gouge.
So this basically is a documentary about how the arts movement was used. Can you help us? Absolutely. We'll fix it all.
Janie did the bedspread. And when she'd finished it, she signed it.
And then they tie it all together and make you think everything was easy.
The pyramid was not simply a monument that was just simply standing there to be looked at, and for one to look at the pyramidion and be swayed by all of its power. It also contained inside writing with philosophy, with literature, with understandings of how people should conduct their lives, and paintings of all kinds that were drawn on the walls with by the priest and so forth. It was a very, it is, of course, they have what they call pyramid texts. You've probably heard of this notion of pyramid text. A pyramid text notion, what that means is that inside all these pyramids, there is enough writing that is more writing than you can have in all of classical Europe. If you take all the Greek and Roman books that people talk about as classical literature and put them together, you will not have the number, the volumes that you would have from the pyramid texts of ancient.
It's just, there's something to this whole thing that the first will be last and the last will be first. We'll just see what I have pulled up here for today. Here's the Society of Protection of Ancient Buildings. That was founded in 1877 by one of those guys that video was about, the William Morris and Ruskin. These guys, that's Morris right there. He's kind of more of the shaggier one, you know, textile designer, poet, communist, arts and crafts movement, socialism. Fin de siècle is a French term meaning end of the century. They always want to do that, but crazy, man. He married Jane Burden and developed a close relationship with the Pre-Raphaelites, group of poets founded only in 1848 who were different kinds of masters. Throughout the Victorian period, they ruled, man. This was what they showed until World War I. This was their world. From the racist end of the Civil War, when they said, no, that wasn't a bad idea. That wasn't a good idea. Everybody's slaves again. And white people will dress like this and rule, because the first will be last, the last will be first. Crazy things are happening. Strip off the ornaments and say, I'm done here. Strip off the ornaments and say, I'm done. I've fixed the building. I took off all those ornaments. What else did we look at today? So here is that group. Again, they were an amenity society, organizing, which monitors planning, organizing, monitoring, making sure it's all good. These guys founded to oppose destructive restoration, widespread and extensive refurbishment, where they wanted to tear down the Christopher Wren buildings or at least make them less gaudy. Do you hear gaudy? What is medieval? RJ, what's the medieval? These guys did it. They didn't like it. They said, why are you tearing up the old buildings, you crazy honkies? Society, which is a registered charity based at 37 Spatial Square. Okay, so they had it wasn't a small group. a lot of people were going, "What are you doing?" And they said, "Mind your own business. We're a part of the supply priorities and allocation boards, and we're going to rule this crap until 1958. So if you have any questions, send them to us." Created by Executive Order 8875, dissolved less than 5 months later, but probably folded into something else. Office of Production Management, these guys, they were put in charge. Lend-Lease program. Anyway, they were busy saving the world because they were secretly building atomic bombs with quantum physics. Sure they were. And they were jacking up Seattle in the meantime. The Gregorian group, just some other group, you know, they were the authority, the national authority on Gregorian architecture built between 1700 and 1837. Good thing we have them, founded in 1937 to brainwash everybody into saying, we've always owned these houses. They're mine now. We own them. And we're not in the Freemasons or the Rosicrucians. And because we like Aleister Crowley and Madame Blavatsky, whatever, Blavatsky. You say Blavatsky, I say potato.
Continuity and gene flow in the region. Only 3 individuals have had sequenceable DNA, and they all come from the late to Hellenistic periods, long after wars and foreign occupations that would have had an impact on the genetic makeup and ancestry of the Egyptian population. The population of the Old Kingdom has generally been assumed to be of local origin with limited input from other regions. The individual at the focus of this new DNA study was found in the Beni Hassan necropolis in 1902. He died between 4,800 to 4,500 years ago, and his remains were placed within a large pottery vessel in a rock-cut tomb, a treatment that's usually reserved for individuals of a higher social class. He was between 157 and 160 centimeters tall, so slightly shorter than I am, and died between the ages of 44 and 64, which was quite old for that time. He is thought to have had brown eyes, hair, and dark to black skin. The image that you see here is a reconstruction of what he might have looked like. The presence of age-related osteoarthritis in most of his joints and vertebrae, and various
Wow. I wonder if he was built this thing.
crucial role in Andean societies, convening meetings and announcing important events. It was also considered an important ritual offering to the gods. It's thought that this plaza would have been the most important in the urban history of the site, as its location, size, and architectural features suggest that the most important administrative and ideological activities took place there. Significant artifacts found were sculptures made of unfired clay depicting anthropomorphic and zoomorphic figures.
Wow. So things are crazy. Go, girl.
And we were looking for a site that would help us go back in time, further back in time, where we could still use history and archaeology. And Caracol fit the bill because it had Maya hieroglyphic writing as well as the archaeology. And it wasn't terribly well known.
On the back of that, then, can you give us a bit of history background on Caracol? Is it Belize's most significant site as they were thinking?
Well, Caracol is actually the largest site in Belize, and as currently mapped, it is the largest of all the Maya sites. So largest in terms of extent.
You know what that means? That movie, The Truman Show, they lied when they were saying, oh, Truman, everything's already been discovered. This is another one of those arts and crafts guy, art critic, museology, study of museums. I don't know. Were some people trying to be good, not being good? Another pre-Raphaelite champion. And then they jacked up the cities. How much of our history is messed up? Peter the Great? No. Peter the Fuller. What did he do? being expelled thence for his behavior and heretical doctrine, passed over to Constantinople, where he courted persons of influence. He was introduced to Zeno, son-in-law of Leo the One. He arrived there greatly. I want to be the Pope. Quickly befriended. He got to be it, but didn't last long. The words, who was crucified for us, he made them. This is all that Council of Chalcedon stuff. Like, we got to fight, we got to fight, we got to get it all figured out. As long as we agree with the Trinity and Josephus, that's all they cared about at Nicaea and Constantinople. Agree that anybody that doesn't believe in the Trinity should be killed. That was their main agreement. What's this?
Hi, this is Frank Taylor with Nature at Your Door, and I'm here in far southwest
I made time to watch this whole thing, some of it a couple of times.
Are biennials. They take 2 years to complete their life cycle. As biennials, in the first year, they'll produce a rosette of leaves and a taproot, and photosynthesis.
Queen Anne's lace. Oh, we got to prop up the royalty and make them think everything's cool.
To match the beauty of the flower. Another part of this legend refers to a very unusual feature of the flower, and that's some of these florets will have a very dark purple flower right at the center. Some, but not all of the flowers, have this dark purple flower in the
And there's oh, it's to attract bugs. It's to repel bugs. It's not that common, but it does happen in Queen Anne's lace. Did you know that this is going to turn into that from the Queen Anne's lace, like wheat and corn, supposedly during this hunter-gathering in-between stage, they took Queen Anne's lace plant, and that became 75 different varieties of the carrot. Bugs Bunny, what's up, Doc? The carrot. Yeah, the carrot, like the banana, like the oranges, like everything else in our world, goes back to something that's a mystery that these people must have known it'd be a carrot. So it was a carrot. It's a carrot.
carrot that we love to eat comes from a variant of the original Queen Anne's lace. The Queen Anne's lace that we see growing in the wild is a result of plants that settlers brought as seeds for their herbal and medicinal gardens. The cultivated orange carrots we have now are actually the same species and probably a particular variant possibly defined now as a subspecies by taxonomists. Both Queen Anne's lace and carrot are biennials. They take 2 years to complete their life cycle.
So just file that away. Now you know. They fake the food. It's like the peanut. It's like everything. It's like some miraculous thing that now it's in everything, and it's our protein. They barely did chicken eggs until like 100 years ago.
In politics, the appearance of things happening doesn't necessarily mean things are happening. And even if they do happen, they're probably not happening how you think they're happening or how they're conveying it's happening. What we have today is that the House Oversight Committee is subpoenaing the Clintons over the Epstein files, and apparently, according to Newsmax and Judge Napolitano, the Clintons could be arrested for refusing to testify. Let's take a look at this dog and pony show. And make no mistake about it, it is a dog and pony show.
We're not going to watch
We
very
are learning
much.
some new information this morning on the latest on the back and forth over the files related to Jeffrey Epstein. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer has issued a slew of deposition subpoenas from multiple people, including the Department of Justice, former President Bill Clinton, and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. CBS News Justice reporter Jake Rosen is following this for us from Washington. Jake,
It's all a fake. It's to make you think they like girls. They don't unless they're cooking them and eating them. This is a little boy thing. They like little boys. And I guess some of them like girls, but for the most part, they're not interested in these girls that are 16, 17 years old. This is all something, it's part of it. It's part of what's going on, man. I just wanted to get this in the description today. What was I saying here? For my time. Let's see here. LA, Monday, September 14th. 17th, maybe. We like to have fun. We like to party. We like to party. The religion of statism. Blasphemy is Edward Snowden tells a picture that was proven, taken in May 1919, while the war was still raging. I think we have a little bit of video coming up on some of these things. Let's see that. Remember that big picture I showed you? They're like, oh, I do not want a TIFF file. They're too big. He did it. There's Einstein. He faked it. Dyson. And so they took these telescopes and faked it so they could take the picture on different places, and they saw something. Somehow they made it work. And you know what they found out? It was a lie. It was a lie. Isn't that crazy? And then there's what they're doing to the world today. This is France. Did you know that the Marcones tried to lower the age of consent to 13? The age of consent is 15 in France. And we know they marry each other. Some families do that. And they're not that's a daughter and her dad from the land of the bunga bunga parties, where France's other presidents would hire the bunga bunga girls to come dance for them. And that's her laying there in her jammies, and him or he's got the jammy top and he's got the jammy bottom. I think that's what they're showing here. And this is a music video called Oh Man. I kid you not. Give me a second, because I know that's grossing you out. It's grossing me out. But we have to be the grown-ups and realize that, I don't know if Candace Owen is in on it or not. Or I've been looking more and more at the curious case of Thomas Crooks. I might want to show you a sampling of that. And then this one here, I did say I wanted to show you a sample of that. Now, where is that one with Candace Owen? She was really doing good. It could be that long ago. There it is.
And it's I don't think it ends well for
Let me
any of these
show
people
you
who
to
choose
you.
money over their values that would allow children to die like this. I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want that karma to be on my children. Do you know? See, and it just seems that he can't do anything. It's rendered him completely impotent. Israel has rendered him impotent, as it has done many of our politicians. But this is definitively a bridge too far. People are referring to this as treason, and that would, I think, be the accurate term to describe what is happening here. He is going to deny Americans in need disaster funding if he finds out
Wow.
that that city or state that is in need is financial support and to help Emmanuel Macron by any means necessary. He went on to say, quote, "My support is obviously logical and natural. I've been supporting Emmanuel Macron for a long time. He and his wife are personal friends." End quote. Okay, so
Uh-oh.
we got this Pierre Berger. He's one half of the Yves Saint Laurent duo, and he is a personal friend to Brigitte Macron and her husband. Now, that's certainly an interesting friendship, another interesting friendship for Emmanuel and Brigitte to have. Because back in 2012, there was a priest in the south of France who alerted the French police about cases of prostitutions of minors at this villa. The villa was called Villa Majorelle, and it was owned by Yves Saint Laurent and Pierre Berger.
Yikes.
Also about what Pierre Berger was involved in Morocco. Now, Fabrice Thomas, I should tell you, he definitely knows Pierre Berger because he worked for him from 1984 until 1992. He was his sex slave and his chauffeur at time to him and Yves Saint Laurent. He took over for his father. I'm speaking now.
You know, when you have those classes and think about what you want to be when you grow up. They throw out, do you want to be a doctor, carpenter, an artist? Would you like to make bread? Would you like to be a sex slave slash chauffeur? And that guy's eyes lit up. What?
Was his father was also a chauffeur and also worked for this couple. And I should mention now that he and his father were incestuous because that just has to happen. Fabrice Thomas and his father, his own father, they both worked for the couple, the fashion duo. The two of them were incestuous. He's admitted this in his book. And
Wow. So that's what we're dealing with, huh? Huh.
There's only one or two photos of her floating around online, right? So it could be as simple as that. I think college account, including the last one he sent, which on June 14th, he's asking, "Where is my diploma? I need that so I can attend Robert Morris University in the fall." So it really doesn't strike me as a man who is planning to die in less than a month in an assassination attempt. In any event, this only scratches the surface of his digital profile. We still don't have anything about his Discord account or all the.
No, do you understand? This was a while ago, a year ago. And they still haven't been able to crack his Discord or crack his apps to share what he shared on his social media. Because he said he's got these special apps from somewhere and we can't crack them. Our government is trying to tell us, oh my goodness, this Joaquin, the artismo. I know it's Herrera, but in Salt Paco world, Joaquin is like a key helper. You all know Joaquin. Anyway, they would have you believe that. Whatever we were talking about, that his daddy and him have incestuous sex and it's okay. It's that crazy world. And Thomas Crooks, they can't tell you what he said. They can tell you what everybody else said. It's like we don't know how to get into his app. Then why isn't everybody in the world using it? Why isn't it the most popular app in the world? How did he find it? He's got 3 apps that they can't crack. or we know what he said on social media at this time, that time, who he texted here, who he texted later, who he was talking to on Discord. But the man who tried to assassinate the president of the United States, the FBI, the CIA, and Homeland Security, they can't crack his they can't crack his phone. He's got those super apps on it, man. He did it.
The encrypted chat apps that he was using outside of his college email. But, you know, it's more information than we had. So it's interesting.
It's really interesting. And I mean, you know, I know you've been a little bit skeptical of some of my opinions or.
Yeah, you know, it's like, because it's so speculative. I didn't get to the end of this. What's this part about?
Reporting, not to diverge too much from Butler, but obviously everybody, I can't speak for everybody, but a lot of people are upset about Trump's pivot on the Epstein files. He says nobody cares about it. What do you think of that?
Oh man, I've never seen Trump drop the ball this hard. Usually he's getting himself into trouble with the other side that's hating everything he says, but this is the first time.
And allegedly, this Ryan Ruth, he's just as sketchy as Thomas Crooks. This is another man that tried to assassinate the president of the United States, and nobody talks about it. I mean, Oswald, this guy it's a setup. It's something weird going on. Okay, you're not going to like this. You won't like it because, you know, we're going to be hiding. The best thing, though, about this is its range is less than like 8 miles, and I don't know if it really works going. So this Queen Anne's lace and the carrot stuff is too much. You know, there's a lot for you to think about. And I know a lot of stimuli, a lot of thinking here tonight, a lot of thinking every day, everywhere. But this is like wheat. This is like corn. It came from a Tecente plant that is so hard it'd crack your teeth. And they say, oh, but they knew if they just kept breeding it with the ones that were different, it would turn into corn. And it took those hunter-gatherers thousands of years to do it. Same with the carrot, same with the wheat, same with the pineapple, same with the grapefruit, banana, peanut. And now it's our common food. Good thing we have dairy. And I know that a lot of you people are lactose intolerant. That's because you're busy digesting gluten in your tummy. And it's not good for you. It's the carrot. And it, you know, rarely more than one red central flower, purple in some worlds. Isn't that crazy? Queen Anne's lace. It is so similar to poison hemlock. But once you know how to tell them apart, it's simple. But to the casual eye, it looks like the poison hemlock, except hemlock grows like 10 feet tall. This grows only 3 feet tall. There's a lot of differences. Don't mess with it unless you know them. Dracus is a worldwide genus of a herbaceous plant of the celery family. Are you kidding me? Of which the best known species is the carrot? So Queen Anne's lace gave us celery too? Where would we put our peanut butter without celery? Do they have the water chestnut also? 75 varieties. Queen Anne and her lace. The greatest mystery of all is what is the purpose of the purple flower? We may never know. Now, Chattanooga, in and of itself, and the Chattanooga Choo Choo, the town they had to raise, did they take the ornaments off of this and only leave a few? There's a lion out front. The Chattanooga Choo Choo. They don't have a lot of pictures. They have this one. Opened in 1909 because they needed it. I don't know. They don't say. We know they jacked up the other city. Something happened here, they say, but they don't tell us the truth. They're proven liars. What about the Atchison, Topeka, and the Santa Fe? This song was so popular, people were going everywhere to hear it.
Take another look, Nifty. See if he's come.
So there's more people in the band than there are people. She's knitting. She hasn't ordered anything. They're playing, pardon me, sirs, what are you expecting us to believe about the past? It's all absolutely crazy. So there's the film and the song. It was a big hit. I could have just.
Can you afford to board a Chattanooga choo-choo? I got my fare.
No, we know something's going on. We looked at the Praetorium last night. It's all Bible stuff. Anyway, I set my intent. I know I'm going to go to school. I showed them I have all these other credits. I told them I want an easy year. I don't know what that means. I only know that the Lord is blessing right now. And it's good to realize that we don't have to buy into the Trump. We don't have to buy into the news. We long for the day when they take the 5G away, when we're not locked to our phone. We can raise this last 20 years, Lord willing. There will be some children that have never had a cell phone. They never have been in range of a 5G tower. That's our only hope. Because you can't fight them. The people that are gunning up right now, they're ready to kill anything. Because that's the propaganda. It's a wide road, and we're not going to win them over if their eyes haven't been opened, their ears cannot hear. They're going to think we're mocking them. We're the bad guys. They're going to say, so you're chosen by God, huh? And you won't take the jab like everybody else. Well, you're endangering us somehow. It's going to go down like that. They're going to be worried about atomic bombs, UFOs, the next pandemic. And you're going to be ready or not. because the only thing that has been consistently proven is this is a flat earth nation. The golden age is past because the mud flood was the Armageddon. They didn't do that thing with the jacking up of the buildings. Look, our parents, grandparents, and great grandparents were probably in on it because they got tricked into a death foul. They didn't get sterilized, institutionalized, lobotomized, erased, sacrificed in a war. No. They fit right in. And that's normalization. And God has called some people to come out of them, to realize this is not our home. Everything the Bible says is he is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. And he's going to open eyes. Nothing it ever knew is brought to God's people unless it's brought by the spirit of prophecy. And this new teaching that he showed me is the only theology in the last known 300 years that hasn't been introduced by a Jesuit. That's a lot of responsibility, but I'm off the hook. There's no blood on my hands because I followed that call and I've done it every day and I intend on continuing because it's all true. And that's why me and my friends are never going to tell you anything else. We have your best interest at heart. We have to. We have to forgive to prove we were forgiven. We have to treat others like we want to be treated. It's the royal law. We have another law higher. To know to do good and do it not is counted as sin. Fourth chapter of James, whatever the last verse in that chapter is. To know to do good and do it not is counted as sin. We're going to be judged by our talents. Amen. Hallelujah. Because we're living stones. You can't carry your treasure with you. You build it up after you're saved by grace by maxing out your talents. Amen. Hallelujah. Aho. Aloha. Arrivederci. Ciao, sana. Auf Wiedersehen. Nakme. Adios, amigos. That's how us He-Man like to say goodbye. Or hasta luego.